The Department of Environmental Quality has proposed a determination of corrective action complete for a portion of the former Willow Run powertrain facility in Ypsilanti. The following presentation details information about the facility and documents why the Department of Environmental Quality believes such a determination is appropriate. The former Willow Run powertrain site is located immediately west of the Willow Run Airport, east of the city of Ypsilanti, and just north of I-94. The site was originally constructed in 1941 by the Ford Motor Company for the manufacture of B-24 Liberator bombers. Kaiser Frazer Corporation took over the site from 1943 to 1953 and manufactured both automobile and aircraft components at the site. In 1953, General Motors Corporation purchased the site and used it until 2009 for the manufacture of automatic transmissions for cars and light trucks. Hazardous waste generated at the site included halogenated and non-halogenated solvents and paints, gasoline, and petroleum naphtha. The Racer Trust was created in March 2011 to clean up and position for redevelopment sites owned by the former General Motors Corporation before its 2009 bankruptcy. Racer is proposing a land swap with the Wayne County Airport Authority, which owns Willow Run Airport. Racer would convey a 21-acre parcel, which was never part of manufacturing operations, to the Airport Authority in exchange for a similarly sized parcel on which the powertrain plant's wastewater treatment facility is located. This diagram shows the overall layout of the former powertrain site. The parcel that Racer would convey to the airport is outlined in blue. The parcel of land that Racer would receive from the airport is outlined in green. Owning the land on which the wastewater treatment facility is located will be advantageous to Racer, as it will allow them to control management of contaminated groundwater from the cleanup of the powertrain plant. The airport will benefit because the increased airspace afforded by the land swap will allow larger aircraft to land. Cleanup at the powertrain facility is regulated under RCRA, the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. In 1981, General Motors submitted a notification of hazardous waste activity to the U.S. EPA and a RCRA Part A permit application for hazardous waste drum storage area. Michigan is authorized to administer the requirements of the federal RCRA hazardous waste program through Part 111, Hazardous Waste Management, of the Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act. Environmental cleanup at the former Willow Run powertrain facility is being completed using the RCRA corrective action process. A preliminary assessment and visual site inspection to determine potential areas of contaminant release was completed in 1992. The MDEQ Remediation and Redevelopment Division has led environmental cleanup work at the powertrain site from the mid-1990s to the present. Soil and groundwater contamination at the powertrain site are largely defined, and interim measures to control groundwater migration off-site are in place. A 21-acre portion of the site, immediately west of the main east-west runway at Willow Run Airport, is being proposed for a determination of corrective action complete with controls in place. No manufacturing activity has ever occurred on this parcel. Most of the parcel is parking lot and undeveloped field, and no waste management units or areas of concern were identified in this parcel during EPA's 1992 preliminary assessment and visual site inspection. Corrective action documents submitted for the 21-acre parcel to be transferred to the airport include a release assessment report, a contaminant nature and extent report, and a Corrective Measures Implementation Plan. Information on how and where to view these documents will be provided later in this presentation. Additional corrective action steps to take place following the public comment period include the remedy decision and the remedy construction. The final step of the corrective action process will be completed following the implementation of corrective measures, which in this case include the recording of a restrictive deed covenant and implementing any long-term monitoring required. This diagram provides close-up detail of the parcel to be transferred to the airport. The Willow Run Powertrain facility is located in the Huron River drainage basin. Hydrogeology at this site includes poorly graded sand to a depth of about 15 feet. This sand is saturated at about 6 feet below the surface. The sandy layer is underlain by a regionally extensive clay unit that prevents downward migration of the shallow groundwater above, followed by up to 130 feet of unconsolidated materials underlain by cold water shale. Shallow groundwater flow in the parcel to be transferred to the airport is generally to the south, with a maximum shallow horizontal groundwater flow velocity of approximately 17 feet a year. This diagram details shallow groundwater flow in the parcel to be transferred to the airport. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, GM investigated and removed shallow soil contamination in an area adjacent to the parcel under consideration. Soil and groundwater samples collected in the parcel under consideration showed no evidence of organics contamination from the removal area. Additional groundwater sampling between 2002 and 2013 confirmed the previous observations. Groundwater samples collected in the parcel under consideration showed levels of metals slightly above Part 201 drinking water protection criteria. As final corrective measures for the 21-acre parcel, RACER proposes to file restrictive deed covenants. These covenants would list the metals above Part 201 criteria, prohibit the use of site groundwater, and prohibit soil relocation without testing and appropriate handling based on those test results. The DEQ supports the land swap proposed by RACER and is recommending the approval of the proposed corrective measures. Once documentation that the corrective measures have been implemented has been received and approved by the DEQ, it is our intent to issue a determination of corrective action complete with controls in place for this 21-acre portion of the site. Written comments, requests to be placed on the facility mailing list, and all other requests for information, including requests for copies of the Corrective Measures Study, should be directed to Mr. Kevin Lund via email at lundk@michigan.gov or mailed to him at DEQ RRD, Jackson District Office, 301 East Lewis Glick Highway, Jackson, Michigan, 49201-1556. Mr. Lund can also be contacted by telephone at 517-780-7846.